like to talk about this match, we didn't really get to give it the proper admiration and
Mm-hmm.
applause and discussion about it. But a lot of people are saying that this could be a top 3 Hell in a Cell match of all time. Are you on that bandwagon?
I think it could be. I think, there is room to consider recency bias. Because that happens a lot. People will say, "Oh my god, this was the match of the year." And it's like, "Okay, well you just saw it. You just got all the endorphins from watching it,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
wait until you calm down and then revisit that later." But I do think that this I would consider this one of the best ever simply because it wasn't just like what they were doing. It didn't have a right amount of violence and the blood and everything that like
And
made the
everything.
whole thing better. I think it's the story between them that made it so much better. And that's why it would be considered one of the best, because I think that matches can be really good, but the most memorable matches are usually ones that have a really good story to go with it, and that's what dictates how the match goes. And you can't say that the story and the feud between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre wasn't good. Like, it's dominated this entire year. The past 10 months have consistently been all about Drew and Punk. And there were so many moments in this match that reminded you just how much these two hate each other. And it was callbacks to stuff that happened in January or at Mania or at Money in the Bank, whatever, last week. To me, that's it. You have to have like a lot of factors that go into like actually awarding a moniker like one of the best or the best. There's multiple things that go into why you could argue that, and I think that this falls in that category.
It had everything that you could have asked a Hell in a
Mhm.
Cell match to have, but with the story that went into it and the hatred that the two men had, it made it all that much better. And when we say the right amount of violence, one example really stands out, and I would say is the prime example of why AEW tribalists are getting upset that this match people are calling this match a classic when it's like, well, what about the uh whatever you call it in
Unprotected
AEW?
headshot.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
why am I blanking on the blood and guts?
Mhm.
Like the blood and guts thing. That was too violent. It's because when Drew McIntyre, yeah, it was Drew McIntyre, pulled out the bag. That bag symbolizes
Yeah.
thumbtacks in the wrestling world. You see someone pull out a bag,
Mm.
that's thumbtacks, baby.
Or
But
a
when he
snake.
pours or a snake, you are right. Well, one man has it,
Imagine
yes.
he just whipped out a snake.
Poured a snake over him.
That would be the ultimate
See,
swerve.
that would be the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
Um, but it's beads
Mm.
from the bracelet.
Mhm.
And they stuff because of the detail in the story. That's a callback. The references, like the things they did, all had a meaning from the feud itself in the past. That is why it's a classic. That's why in my eyes it's a top 5. It's not a top 3.
Mhm.
But
This is
but because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's a top 5, hands down.
Well, and it feels like a match where you could just watch the video package that they show you of like what led to that match. And that would be enough for you to understand the significance of moments in that match. It's not
Yes.
something that you needed to be actively watching Raw every single week to understand how much they
Mhm.
hated each other or why this moment stood out. Like, you could watch the video that they show before the match and be like, oh, wow, okay. And then you see the match and you're like, I get it. And to me, that's a match that stands the test of time. Matches that you
Mm.
need to kind of know way too much about a backstory. I mean, the match might be good, but if a casual fan can't turn it on when you tell them, like, oh my God, this match is really good, without them knowing the entire lead up to it, you know, in very fine detail, then that isn't, I don't know, that's not a classic in my eyes. But
It's an absolute insult. The only matches I can think of that are better, Hell in a Cell matches, I mean, Mankind Undertaker is, in my eyes, the greatest Hell in a Cell match of all time.
Final Boss says Boss Man and Taker.
No, the man was hung at WrestleMania.
And Romaro has a Triple H, Taker, and Taker Mankind.
That's mine. I would say the the Triple H Shawn Michaels Bad Blood.
Yeah, that's what he said. Longest Hell in a Cell
That
ever.
would be that has to be
Oh,
in the
he
top 3.
joking. Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. We can't. I can't tell tone over text. You say that to my face.
Well,
we're both laughing.
I mean, the thing is too is everybody has favorites that people might not understand, you know. So it's like, all right, well,
I have a nonsense favorite wrestling match. Absolutely, everybody has that.
Yeah,
that makes no sense. It may not be it's not a 5-star classic, but goddamn, it is your favorite. You watch it every time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of those.
Oh, he also says Taker Brock Hell in a Cell 2000.
That was a great one. That was a really good one.
Notice who's in all of them. The Undertaker.
Yeah, like legitimately.
It used to be like his match, basically.
It is his match.
Yeah.
It's his match.